Chapter 20 Contention at Kadesh. Now the children of Israel, the whole congregation, came into the desert of Sin in the first month. And the people stayed in Kadesh. And Miriam died and was buried there. But there was no water for the congregation. So they gathered together against Moses and Aaron. So the people scoffed at Moses and spoke, saying, Would we had died in the destruction of our brethren before the Lord? Why have you brought up the Lord's congregation into this desert to kill us and our cattle? Why did you also bring us up out of Egypt to bring us to this evil place, a place where nothing is sown, neither figs nor vines, nor pomegranates, nor is there any water to drink? So Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the congregation to the door of the tabernacle of testimony, and fell on their faces. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to them. So we have here some footnotes. So chapter 20, verse 1 through 5, the desert of Sin was characterized as a place where nothing is sown, neither figs nor vines nor pomegranates, nor is there any water to drink. Verse 5, the people had the opportunity to respond in one of two ways. Be thankful or be frustrated. They chose frustration. The Lord then spoke to Moses, saying, Take the rod, and you and your brother Aaron gather the congregation together. Speak to the rock before them, and it will give its waters. Those you shall bring them water out of the rock, and give drink to the congregation and their cattle. So Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as the Lord ordered him. Then Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said to them, Hear me, you disobedient ones. Must we bring water for you out of this rock? Moses then lifted his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation and their cattle drank. But the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, Because you did not believe me to sanctify me before the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this congregation into the land I am giving them. This was the water of contention, because the children of Israel scoffed before the Lord, and he was sanctified among them. So, verse 11 and 12, Moses stuck to the rock in unbelief, and this action will keep him from leading Israel in the land of promise. It is unbelief to disobey the Lord's direction, for he told Moses to take the rod and speak to the rock. Verse 8, however, he struck the rock twice, so he violated the type. The rock is represented the spiritual rock, Christ himself, for it was he who ordered Moses to speak to the rock. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. After his incarnation, he will be smitten once, not twice, for the sins of the world. Romans chapter 6 verse 10. So from his life-giving cross will come the waters of life, springing up into the everlasting life. John chapter 4 verse 14. So verse 30, this event in from 1 to 12 was called the water of contention for two reasons. First, because of Israel's scoffing, and second, because the Lord was sanctified among them. In spite of Israel's scoffing, or scoffing, I don't know how to pronounce that, Christ in his power gave them water to drink. So let's go further. Rejection at Edom. Now Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, saying, "Thus says your brother Israel, you know all the hardship that befell us, how our fathers went down to Egypt, and we dwelt in Egypt a long time. And the Egyptians afflicted us and our fathers. But we cried out to the Lord, and the Lord heard our voice and sent his angel and brought us up out of Egypt. Now here we are in Kadesh, a city just outside your borders. Let us pass through your country. We will not pass through fields or vineyards, nor will we drink water from wells. We will go along the king's highway. We will not turn aside to the right hand or the left, until we pass through your borders." Then Edom said to him, "You shall not pass through me, lest I come out against you in war." So the children of Israel said to him, "We will go along the mountains area, but if I or my cattle should drink any of your water, I will pay you. But the matter is nothing. Let us pass along the mountains area." But he replied, "You shall not pass through me." So Edom came out against him with a heavily armed multitude and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his borders, and Israel turned away from him. So verse 16, his angel is the word and son of God, for it was he who brought Israel up out of Egypt with his almighty power. Let me drink some coffee. Just a second. So I'm back. The death of Aaron. Verse 22. So the children of Israel, the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the borders of the land of Edom, saying, "Let Aaron be added to his people, for he shall not enter the land I am giving to the children of Israel, because you provoked me at the word of controversy. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to the Mount Hor before all the congregation, and strip Aaron of his robe, and put it on Eleazar his son, and let Aaron die there, and be added to his people. So Moses did as the Lord ordered, and took him up to the mountain, to Mount Hor, before all the congregation. Then Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there on the top of the mountain. And afterward Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. Now all the congregation saw Aaron was dead, and all the house of Israel mourned for Aaron 30 days. Verse 28, Aaron's death revealed the weakness and temporary nature of the Aaronic priesthood, for it could not overcome death, but Christ destroyed death by his death. Therefore, his priesthood continues unto ages of ages. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 23 through 25. Chapter 21, defeating the Canaanites. Now the Canaanite king of Arad, who was dwelling in the desert, heard the news, for Israel came by way of Atarim. Therefore he made war against Israel, and they carried off captives from them as booty. Then Israel made a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, I will anathematize him and his cities. So the Lord listened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they anathematized him and his cities. Therefore they called the name of the place Anathema, the copper serpent. Then they departed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea, and they went around the land of Edom, and the people became discouraged on the way. So the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to kill us in the desert? For there is no bread, no water, and our soul is weary of this worthless bread. So the Lord sent venomous serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the children of Israel died. Then the people came to Moses and were saying, we sinned, for we spoke against the Lord and against you. Therefore pray to the Lord and let him take away the serpent from us. So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, make a serpent for yourself and put it on a signal pole, and it shall be, if a serpent should bite someone, when the one bitten looks at it, he shall live. So Moses made a copper serpent and put it on a signal pole. And it happened, when a serpent bit anyone, and he looked at the copper serpent, he lived. So chapter 21, verse 9, the footnotes, the people who looked on the copper serpent on the signal pole lived. So they lived because the motionless copper serpent signaled that the power of the venom in them was now dead. The serpent bit Adam in the Garden of Eden, and his venom eventually caused him to die physically. and decay in the grave. So all the days Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Genesis chapter 5:5. Death also come into the world through him. Romans chapter 5:12. When Christ hung motionless on the cross, John chapter 3 verse 14, his death body signaled the end of death's reign over man's body, for he trampled down death by his death, upon those in the tombs bestowing life. Sung by the church at Easton. So the copper serpent saved those who looked up upon it, not because it lived, but because it was killed, and killed with it the powers that were subject to it, being destroyed as where is your being destroyed it deserved. And what is the fitting epitaph for it from us? O death, where is your sting? O grave, where is your victory? 1 Corinthians chapter 15:55. So you are overthrown by the cross. You are slain by him, who is the giver of life. You are without breath, death, without motion, even though you keep the form of a serpent lifted up on high on a pole. So, verse 10. From Mount Hor to Moab. After this, the children of Israel broke camp and camped in Oboth. From there they broke camp and camped on the other side of the Oboth. Then they broke camp at Oboth and camped at Leah Abarim, which is on the other side in the desert, that is over against Moab, towards the sunrise. So from there they broke camp and camped in the valley of Zereth. From there they broke camp and camped on the other side of the Arnon, in the desert which runs along the border of the Amorites. For the Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Therefore it is said in the book, the wall of the Lord he set on fire, Zub, and the brooks of the Arnon, and he will establish the brooks for to inhabit near the borders of Moab. Then from there they went to the well, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together, and I will give them water to drink. Then Israel sang this song about the well. Begin the song. As for the well, rulers dug it. Kings of nations hewed it in stone, in their kindly rule when they were the Lord's. Then from the well they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahiliel, from Nahiliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley that is the plain of Moab, which from the top of the quarried rock looks out over against the desert. Defeat of King Sihon and King Og. Then Moses sent ambassadors to Sihon, king of the Amorites, and with peaceful words, saying, let us pass through your land. We will journey on the road and not turn aside, either into a field or a vineyard. We will not drink water from your well. We will journey on the king's highway. Judah will pass beyond your borders. But Sion will not allow Israel to pass through his borders. So Sion gathered all his people together and went out to engage Israel in battle in the desert. So he came to Yahaz and engaged Israel in battle. Then Israel struck him with slaughter by the sword and gained dominion over his land, from the Arnon to the Jabbok, as far as the sons of Ammon, for Yazer is the border of the sons of Ammon. So Israel took all the cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon and in all its villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who fought against former king of Moab and took all his land from Aroer to Arnon. Therefore, those who speak in riddles say, "Come to Heshbon, so the city of Sihon may be built and made ready." For fire went out from Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It consumed as far as Moab, and swallowed up the pillars of the Arnon. Woe, woe to you, Moab! You were destroyed, O people of Chemosh. Their sons were sold to be kept alive, and their daughters are captives to Sihon, king of the Amorites. Their seed shall perish from Heshbon to Dibon, and their woman again stirred up fire over Moab. Now Israel dwell in all the cities of Amorites. Then Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took it and its villages, and cast out the Amorites dwelling there. After this they turned and went up to the road to Bashan. So Og, king of Bashan, and all his people came to meet them in battle at Edrei. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Do not fear him, for I have delivered him into your hand, with all his people and his land. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon." So they struck him, his sons, and all his people, until there was no survivor left him, and they inherited their land. So, chapter 22. Balak seeks out Balaam. Now the children of Israel broke camp and camped west of Moab, by the Jordan, across from Jericho. So when Balak the son of Zippor saw all the Israel did to the Amorites, and Moab was exceedingly afraid of the people, because they were many, and Moab was irritated because of the children of Israel. Then Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now this congregation will lick up everything around us, as a young bull licks up the grass of the field." Now Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at that time. Then he sent ambassadors to Balaam the son of Beor at Pator, which is near the river in the land of the sons of his people, to call him, saying, "Look, a people came from Egypt. See, they cover the face of the earth and are settling next to me. Therefore come at once and curse this people for me, for they are stronger than we. If we would be able to strike some of them, then I could drive them out of the land. For I know he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with their divination in their hand, and they came to Balaam and spoke to him the words of Balak. Then he said to them, Lodge here tonight, and I will bring back to you whatever words the Lord may speak to me. So the princes of Moab stayed with Balaam. God then came to Balaam and said to him, Who are these men with you? So Balaam said to God, Balak, the sons of Zippor, king of Moab, sent to me, saying, Look, a people came out of Egypt, and they covered the face of the earth, and are settling next to me. Therefore come at once and curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to strike them and drive them from the land. Then God said to Balaam, You shall not go with them, neither shall you curse the people, for they are blessed. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the rulers of Balak, Return to your Lord, for God is not allowing me to go with you. Therefore the rulers of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam is unwilling to come with us. Balak yet again sent rulers more numerous and more honorable than these. When they came to Balaam, they said to him, Thus says Balak to the son of Zippor, I beg of you not to hesitate in coming to me, for I will certainly honor you greatly, and I will do whatever you say. Therefore come and curse this people for me. Then Balaam answered and said to the rulers of Balak, Though Balak were to give me his house, full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord God, to make it little or great in my mind. Now, therefore, stay here tonight, so I may know what more the Lord will say to me. Balaam and his donkey. Those God came to Balaam at night and said to him, If these men are present to summon you, rise and follow them. But the word I speak to you, that you should do. So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the rulers of Moab. Then God was very angry because he went, and the angel of God stationed himself to divert him from his purpose. Now he was riding on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of God standing in the way his with his drawn sword in his hand, the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So Balaam struck the donkey with his staff to turn her back onto the road. Then the angel of God stood in a narrow path between the vineyards, with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. Now, when the donkey saw the angel of God, she pushed herself against the wall, and crushed Balaam's foot. So he struck her again. Then the angel of God went and stood in a narrow place, where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. So when the donkey saw the angel of God, she lay down under Balaam, and Balaam became angry and struck the donkey with his staff. Then God opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you struck me this third time?" Balaam then said to the donkey, "Because you abused me, I wish there were a sword in my hand, for now I will kill you." So the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey, on which you rode from your youth to this very day? Did I ever show such utter disregard for you?" He replied, "No." Then God opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed and worshipped. The angel of God then said to him, "Why did you strike your donkey a third time? Behold, I came out as your adversary, because your way was not acceptable before me. So when the donkey saw me, she turned aside from me this third time. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would have killed you by now and let her live." Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I sinned, for I didn't know you met me as an adversary on the road. Now therefore, if my way is not acceptable to you, I will turn back." The angel of God said to Balaam, "Go with the man, but only the word I may speak to you. This you must be careful to speak." So Balaam went with the rulers of Balak. Balak receives Balaam. Now when Balak heard Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the borders of the Arnon, the boundaries of his territory. Then Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not earnestly send to summon you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not actually able to honor you?" Balaam then said to Balak, "Look, I did come to you. Should I now be able to say anything? Whatever word God may put in my mouth, this I must speak." So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to unwalled encampment. Then Balak sacrificed sheep and young bulls, and he sent some to Balaam and to the rulers with him. So the footnotes, verse 22 through 38. The angel is the word and son of God. He warned Balaam to speak only what he told him to speak. "Only the word I may speak to you, this you must be careful to speak." Verse 35. Later Balaam told Balak he could only speak whatever word God may put in my mouth. This I must speak. Verse 38. Those Balaam called the angel God. So from verse 22 to 27, the donkey knew his master and creator, for she saw him. However, Balaam could not see him because of his darkened heart. Likewise, when this angel, who is the Word, became flesh, neither Israel nor the world at large knew him. John chapter 1 verse 10 and 11. But the donkey and the ox knew him. at his birth in the cave. In the Christmas icon, the donkey stands nearest Christ in the cave, and next to it the ox, for they knew their master and creator. But Israel did not know him, as Isaiah prophesied. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3 and 4. So, let's get me a sip. Balaam's first prophecy. When morning came, Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the pillar of Baal, and he showed him part of the people. Now, chapter 23. Now Balaam said to Balak, build 7 altars for me here, and prepare for me here 7 young bulls and 7 rams. So Balak did just as Balaam had spoken, and he offered a young bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, stand alongside your sacrifice, and I will go. Perhaps God will reveal himself to me in a meeting, and I will tell you whatever words he shows me. So Balak stood alongside his sacrifice, and Balaam went on a direct road to inquire of God. Thus God revealed himself to Balaam, and Balaam said to him, I prepared 7 altars and offered each altar a young bull and a ram. Then God put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, return to Balak, and those you should speak. So he returned to him, and there he was standing alongside his burnt offerings, and he and all the rulers of Moab with him. Then the Spirit of God came upon him, and he took up his parable and said, Balak, the king of Moab, summoned me from Mesopotamia, from the mountains of the east, saying, come, curse Jacob for me, and come, call down a curse upon Israel. How shall I curse whom the Lord did not curse? Or how shall I call down a curse upon whom God did not curse? For from the top of the mountains I see him, and from the hills I envision him. Behold, the people shall dwell alone, and they shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can examine currently the seed of Jacob, and number the tribes of Israel? May my soul die with the souls of the righteous, and may seed be as their seed. So, verse 5, God put a word in Balaam's mouth, just as he said he would in chapter 22, verse 35. Verse 7, the Spirit is the Holy Spirit, and God is God the Father. The Holy Spirit spoke by the prophet Balaam, the Holy Spirit who spoke by the prophets Creed. Therefore, the Holy Trinity is revealed in verse 5 and 7. For where one of the persons is present, also are the other two. So, verse 10, speaking by the Spirit of God, Balaam could wish the greatest possible good for himself, namely for his soul to die with the souls of the righteous. For in this wish there is no fear of death, for he who dies in Christ is made a partaker of his righteousness in baptism. So, verse 11, but Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I summoned you to curse my enemies, and look, you have blessed them bountifully. Then Balaam said to Balak, should I not be careful to speak whatever God may put in my mouth? Balaam's second prophecy, verse 13. So Balak said to him, yet come with me to another place, from which vantage points you may not see him. You will see only a part, but not all of him. Then curse him for me from there. Then he took him along to a lookout point over the land up the summit of a hewn rock, and built 7 altars there. And he offered a young bull and a ram on each altar. Balaam then said to Balak, stand alongside your sacrifice, while I go and inquire of God. Then God met Balaam and put a word in his mouth, and said, return to Balak, and those you shall speak. So he returned to him, and there he was, standing alongside his whole burnt offering, and all the rulers of Moab were with him. Balak then said to him, what did the Lord say? Then he took up his parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Give ear as a witness, son of Zippor. God is not like a man to be deceived, nor like a son of man to be threatened. Would he, having spoken, not act? Or should he speak and not stand by it? Behold, I receive to bless, and I shall bless and not reverse it. There shall be no trouble in Jacob, nor shall distress be seen in Israel. For the Lord his God is with him, and the glorious act of rulers are in him. God brings them out of Egypt, like the glory of the unicorn for him. For there is no portent in Jacob, nor any divination in Israel. In due time it will be told to Jacob and Israel what God will accomplish. Behold, a people like a lion's cub will rise up. Behold, a people like a lion's cub will rise up. Will rise up, and I will exalt like a lion. It shall not lie down until it eats the prey, and drinks the blood of the slain. Then Balak said to Balaam, neither curse him with curses for me, nor actually bless him. So Balaam answered and said to Balak, did I not tell you, saying, the word God may speak that I shall do? Balaam's third prophecy. Then Balak said to Balaam, come, I will take you along to another place, if it will please God to curse him for me from there. So Balak took Balaam along to the top of Peor, which extends into the desert. Then Balaam said to Balak, build 7 altars for me here, and prepare for me here 7 young bulls and 7 rams. So Balak did as Balaam told him, and he offered a bull and a ram on each altar. So, thank you for listening, and we see us next time. Like, subscribe, give a comment below. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.